Oh, hey guys, welcome to the Witchin Hour. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hey Miguel, how are you?
Good. I'm great. How's everything with you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been, clients who'd have him, but that's another story.
Hey,
It's
you're
been,
getting closer and closer to NFT NYC. How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. Yeah, both me and Jace are really excited. I've been
It's
planning a little bit,
so
booking some passes, to like do
yeah.
some sightseeing. Yeah, I almost can't believe it. I don't know if you ever get that. I've wanted to go to New York for so long. I almost can't imagine myself there. Like it's like it's not happening. It's not real. It's really strange feeling.
Until you're actually here.
Yeah, I feel like until I step off and get in a yellow cab, it won't be real. And eat some Chinese food out of a carton, like we do on
uh,
Friends.
this guy's in the building.
Oh
Why is
no,
he here?
cause trouble.
Go away, Kev. Go away.
Funny. But yeah, so what's the news with the Rebel Ants crew?
We have a lot of stuff going on. Kevin's working on like some super secret stuff. Yeah, you know what? I decided last week that I am not going to give any more alpha.
Oh, damn it.
I'm done
Okay.
with it. Because
Okay.
every time I say something, I feel like I see it somewhere else in another project every single time.
That does happen.
Like
Like,
I spent weeks planning stuff, months, and then finally me and Kevin will talk about it in details, and then all of a sudden, boom, somebody's doing it.
someone
And
else,
I'm like, what the
someone who's got more time
how
and
is
does
that
a real
happening?
job. They're like they've done it. Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. I feel like I talk about my ideas a lot, and then sometimes you think, oh damn, I wish I'd kept my mouth shut because someone else has done that before me now.
Yeah.
But
I can tell you, but I'll tell you off air.
oh yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, that's different.
Well, we went live with
Okay.
staking a few days ago.
Yeah, the staking, that's exciting. So I need to
Yeah.
connect my wallet and do that. That's on my list to do.
Yeah, make sure you stake. We have big plans.
Yeah, I'm excited for
And
that.
it's soft staking, so it's not like it's pulling your NFT from like
No.
and keeping it or holding it hostage or anything like that. It's just you can stake in and stake
Got
out.
visions of all my little ants with like
Yeah. But
massive
as you
mouths.
have a as you have a staked, you're gaining points. So
I like it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Well,
say what the points are for yet, but yeah,
just
yeah,
cool stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
cool
that's
stuff.
exciting. Well, I did a thing actually. I was telling the FCW crew, I think I told you, I got a few people in the FCW to test it. So I've created a Luna Witch open chat GPT. So you now can go on and ask
Oh,
the
that's
Lunar
right.
Oracle. Yeah, so you could say to Lunar Oracle, what moon ritual should I perform tonight? And she will give you a ritual. She will pull a card from our deck. So she'll pull you something, say, from the nocturnal creatures and tell you what that card means. And she'll write a spell for you. She'll actually answer anything, but it's all in the voice of Luna Witch. But what's really clever is I managed to upload all the knowledge that I've written, all the lore, everything,
Oh
and
wow.
absorbed it all. There was like page after page of the stuff. So it's pulling directly. So today I asked it, what does the strawberry moon mean? And it pulled straight from the story that I wrote last year for the
Mhm.
strawberry moon, the lore, and like told me what it means. And I was like, this is so clever. And you can summon 3 different voices. So you've got the Lunar Witch, you've got
Yeah.
the familiar, who's really cheeky and sassy, and then also there's the dark mystic, who's obviously a little bit more foreboding. So I will have a play with it after and ask it some stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure. I mean, you gave me a little preview, and I loved it from there. So,
yeah,
and I was telling you that I think that we've been trying for a while to get ChatGPT into our website,
yeah.
and we couldn't do it for some reason. There was something going on, so I
I mean,
need
there's
to
been
tell
so many
Kev.
updates as well recently, I think. So it might be
Mhm.
that I did ask it how to do it. It gave me some instructions. Fraser, who is super good
Yeah,
with
you
all
were
that
telling me.
stuff, he said he's going to look into like how we can integrate it maybe into the website. Because I thought it's just a really fun thing that you
Yeah,
can say to people, go and
it's
ask.
so cool. Yeah,
And I just
I
thought
love
maybe
that.
we can gamify it. Maybe we can do spell writing
Yeah,
competitions or something. I don't know. I feel like there's legs to it, and I might try and do another version that maybe is more like role playing story where you make choices. I'm sure that'll be. But for me, I'm not very techy, so it took me a lot of time over the
yeah.
weekend But what's great is every time something broke, I could ask ChatGPT why it wasn't working, and it would tell me. I didn't have to work it out.
Fix it, chat.
Fix it. Why is it broken? It did seem like it doesn't take much to break it, so I wouldn't be surprised if I test it now. I've done something, but yeah. So
Yeah, you know, I find myself more and more using ChatGPT all the time.
I use it about 50 times a day.
Like ChatGPT is like my friend now. Like we talk all the time.
Oh
We have
yeah.
beers together. Like
She, for me, she's a she, and she's like my bestie. And I'm like, what should I have for lunch today?
I'm gonna replace Kevin with ChatGPT. You hear me, Kev? I'm gonna replace you. And I'm gonna name him Kev.
Oh, name it. Yeah. Wow. I really like it. I'm using it for so much like stuff, like so much stuff. So yeah, funny. I had fun with my niece actually. I said, oh, it was her birthday, and I said, oh, should we ask Luna Witch for a birthday spell? And it was, yeah, I just thought it was really sweet. You know, she thought that was cool. She's like 9, so you know.
That is cool.
Yeah, so it's excellent. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's not like me. Normally, I'm like, Fraser, can you make something technical? But I actually
forward to playing with it. You know, an hour ago, I was sitting in my pool, and I'm like, shit, I think it's like 4:00. And then I looked at the time, and it was like 5. I'm like, oh crap, I have a stream. So like,
I really feel like next level is to do the stream from the pool.
You know what?
Like a cocktail.
Don't give me ideas, because I will do it.
That's too funny. But well, I'm super excited for tonight's guest. So
who do we have?
We've got Skoojah. Skoojah's a massive legend. He's one of my favorite artists. He told me not to do this. He said he'll get embarrassed, but he is. He's a bit of a hero.
Do it.
He's one of the FCW crew. He's one of the OGs from, like, you know, back in the day. But he's not like, he's not predominantly Web3, so it's going to be really interesting chat because he does a lot of IRL exhibitions. He's an art director.
Ooh, nice.
Animation, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get him on. Let's do this.
Ooh.
All right, Skoojah. Let's add to screen. Hello.
Hello. That wasn't too bad. Thanks.
No, I thought I'll rein it in.
yeah, that was good. Hello. How are both of you guys doing? Pretty good?
Oh, we're good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You know, excited. I'm excited to be here. You know, hanging in my little studio here. I took off the heavy lights. As you can see, I like to do things differently.
Moonlighting.
Down, and you know, a lot of things from the olden days with, you know, CDs. You know,
you have a pretty cool studio back there, though.
Yeah, it looks really dope.
I wish I could stand up in it, but you know, when you're
over, is the ceiling really low?
Yeah. The ceiling's about 6 feet, and I'm 6'3". So.
Oh, okay. So everything is like, you're like scooched over. Is that why they call it like Skoojah? Scooched.
Yeah, like I don't like to reorganize anything because I'm bending over, and it's just like sit down and draw. You know?
Oh my god, I love it. Oh, so to start, why don't you? Because I guess not everybody knows who you are. Maybe just like a really brief, like, hi, I'm Skoojah. Like a little bit about you.
No, not brief. I want to know everything.
Okay, no, but we'll get into, you know, just like a little overview, and then we'll start asking questions. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, do you want to know about the traumatic birth or?
Yeah, everything, like your whole childhood, any like trauma.
Yeah. I was a gift. I was an angel given to my mother.
Aren't we all? Were angels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I still am today. You know, keeping it real. No. Well, like in art world, I mean, the long and the short. Let's put it this way. In grade 2, oh darn, I always forget about this. In grade 2, I have a timer on that tells me to stand up and go exercise. Anyways,
I have one of those.
It goes on regardless of what you're doing.
You just turn it off and go down.
Live, and it's like, hey, no, okay, see you later. But no, really, the whole story was grade 2 got picked for a grade 6. You know, so kids like 4 years older go to this art school, and then my parents went, oh, I guess he's good at art, and I just kept going. That reminded, and I just kept going, and so. Eventually took illustration at college, illustration and design. So I majored in editorial illustration, and when I first got out of school in the 90s, I illustrated for all the major newspapers here in Canada,
Oh wow.
and did editorial illustrations for those papers. Kind of did my living that way, and then I got into designing book covers at one of Canada's biggest publishing companies as a little junior designer, or a designer, either way. And yeah, then from there, I jumped into advertising and marketing, just led my way into digital in the early days of the .com days. And the next thing I knew, I had 3 kids, a big fucking house, and I hated my fucking job. And I was, managing like 15 people on a big design shop, and I was like, no.
Wow.
So, anyways, and then, boom, over years and years, freelancing here or there, just doing my thing. I ended up in the Web3 space with some of my artwork, and just the way I used to doodle in books and in my meetings, and then launched the Babylon Misfits, got into Web3, and I've just been rolling it along. Now I just do that artwork all the time now.
Oh, it's
Very
amazing.
Long and the short of it. That's
Yeah, your artwork. I absolutely love your artwork. It's just like insane. It inspires me. You're the like king of creating characters. Like it's, I can't wait to start sharing. But yeah, I just like because you and Acid are pals, aren't you? So we had Acid on a few weeks ago.
man. Yeah.
So you're both from like he worked in your studio for a bit, didn't he?
No, not literally, no, but yeah, he's a homie now. We're on the same street, but yeah, no, he was an illustrator, a freelance illustrator, big Photoshop dude, Photoshop collages.
Yeah.
And I was working for Petro-Canada, which was one of the Canada's largest petroleum companies, right? And we just needed something for a design. I said, "Oh, I saw Derek's work," and I said, "Oh, I'll just get him to do it," right? And then, yeah, he came in, quoted on it, totally undercut himself. And I said, "Dude, man, no, you should be doubling that. I'm going to give you," and I added a little bit more than double or something what he was asking.
Oh, that's
He
good.
said, and that's cool, because
Yeah.
we got it in the budget. So ever since then, we remained friends, and so. But yeah, now he lives up the street, so it's good to have somebody right nearby, that you can hang out with and talk not just art and what you do, but
Yeah.
Web3 space and NFTs, where that normally just gets blank stares. Right? So
Yeah.
People just switch off.
yeah. I've always been doing stuff ahead. Like I said, I was in the .com days, so I was making my living off of designing websites. When it was strict HTML.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I just learned, I didn't do the code, but I worked right across with somebody who'd splice it up and put the code in.
Yeah.
We worked together kind of as a team. So it was like, I loved it. And then you get into Flash and animation. It's like, oh, now interactive sites. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And those were the days of like, that's where I went with my career, and it was kind of fun, but
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and here we are today. Talking about Vicki, the lovely Vicki Licious.
I remember the days of like
Avalanche is great. I mean, I'm stoked. I love every day, right? So
it's awesome. I do like I remember the days of, because I'm obviously a designer, like a graphic designer, not quite like yourself. I was never an art director or anything, but I remember when I was offered sort of being like a studio, to be more in charge of the studio, be more senior, and I didn't want it because for me, the managing people, no, I just want to create. I felt like it took away from that. Did you find that? Just I don't want to mentor someone. I just want to make my own stuff. Like
yeah.
Did you find that when you were sort of art directing people? And
yeah, well, the way I kind of came about, like, I mean, like I was a designer for book covers, right? So it's all production, and there's a lot of conceptual, concept to the design, because you're having what is the book about? And so, and as an editorial illustrator, that's what I did. I get a synopsis of an article, and then you'd come up with an illustration. So in book design, it was like that. And it was just really learning the computer. And I mean, dating myself, that's when I learned Photoshop when it came out. That's when I was doing this. So I was like, the first year it ever came out, I was already using it, stealing images online, photoshopping the shit out of them, and then putting it on a big, huge publication. Like that's the book cover, you know, and it's like,
Wow. Oh.
yeah.
I feel like those days were super exciting, you know, in the same way I think it is now with AI. Like, I feel like the discussions we have about AI and is it art and blah, 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 is
Mhm.
still the same discussion as when Photoshop came along, isn't it? I feel like that
Oh,
era.
yeah, for me, it was huge. It was like eye opening. So, like, I could draw, and like still today, like using Procreate. Procreate's based on layers and stuff like that, which is what Photoshop was.
Yeah.
So, when Photoshop first came out, it had 74 layers because I maxed it, and then
Yeah.
you couldn't go any higher. So then the next version came out. Now it's like, okay, double or maybe 300 layers. I'm maxing that, and like, because you could just keep adding on to something and just really playing. And I felt it was, yeah, if it was made for photography, I think it's more of a creative tool for anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so, and that's where it's just technology took over, right? So you can just keep going and going with whatever you learn, right? From an app perspective anyways.
Yeah.
How did you, because you do also animation, right? How did you adapt into animation?
Well, I mean, I kind of took a stab in it, you know, probably my son in 90, late 90s, early 2000s. And then, like, I remember doing animation, like frame by frame. I found some app, you know, this is early internet days, and I found something, and it's like, oh, it helps you just do cell by cell. So I did that, and but you know, never really did it again. And then as technology changed, once I got onto Procreate, it was like, holy shit, this is Flash animation or Adobe Animate, but it's just in the Procreate format with a pencil.
Yeah.
And so, and I was comfortable with cell by cell, and I've got a couple of good buddies who their company's called Blame Your Brother. They're motion designers, graphic designers, and they're really good at one of them, Darren, he's like a 2D guy, worked in Hollywood for years, and so he's still doing the same kind of thing. And I thought, well, you know, really all it comes down to is then how well can you draw and how well can you know, keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only had a stab at Procreate animation literally about 2 weeks ago, and I
Yeah.
just created a really simple, like, had the eyes flashing and like some little stars twinkling, and
I saw that, little lady. I saw that.
yeah, it's just like a little, it's like
Yeah.
stop frame almost, isn't it? I felt like it was, I feel like I can do better though. I feel there's a lot to learn on it. But
100%. Yeah. Well,
you
that's
know,
why I get little tips from my animation buddies, and it's like, oh, okay, framework. Okay. How many
Yeah.
frames and what do I want them to see? And, you know,
Yeah.
and then it's like, how many cells do I want to do? Do I want to spend a month on this, or
Yeah.
am I going to give myself a week? You know?
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many how many frames I was using just to get like a really nice,
Yeah.
like, you can do it where it's like kind of a bit like, I don't know what's the word, almost like Giphy, I suppose, you know. But you to make it blend, and like you got to really like step by step by step. I was like, wow, this is you could get very painstaking on it.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoy the losing myself in that kind of level of concentration is quite nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love it. I love seeing motion. I love,
Yeah.
you know, just doing it and kind of bringing things like with a, you know, literally like, you know, when you were a kid, I used to do this in all kinds of textbooks where you draw the little thing on the corner, and I got it from Mad Magazine. They used to always have on the corner where you could just flip the corners and you see somebody walking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I used to love those, and then I put those into textbooks, right, in school. I would draw those things.
Amazing.
That's so fucking fun, you know. It's, Andrew, are you listening? Well, what? Yes, yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
really.
Yeah, no. I'm just drawing the poop of the dog. The dog will walk over. I think that my first animation when I was talking earlier, when Miguel asked me, like, when did you start with animation? The very first thing I think, and I'm not very good at it because I have friends who are animators. So I still look at animation as music to me. It's like a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, I can do it, and I'll maybe, you know, do my craft or my hobby more than other people, or just go, that's where I lose time. I'll be up till 4 a.m. going, holy fuck, yeah, I got to get up tomorrow. But
yeah, that's how I find. I don't know. I'm the same. I tend to feel more creative in the evening. Like I feel like that's when my creative brain wakes up. I think it's because everyone's leaving you alone a little bit. Like you've no clients email, and it's kind of you've got that clarity to just focus on something. But
yes, I mean, well, I think in you seem to have busier days with client contact and other people on
yeah,
the job, right? I'm
yeah,
really these days I'm kind of left alone a little bit. It's like, can you get it done for here? Or yeah.
yeah. And
And
it's just,
so I do get left alone a lot in the day. So now I'm finding it harder. I have to kind of, okay, I got to smoke a big joint and I'm going to do, you know.
yeah, I feel like it's I'm working on lots of smaller jobs at the moment that people are like, they're not taking up more than say half a day or something, so that you've got a lot more going on. I prefer when I've got something juicy, and I just, like you say, you just get left alone and you're like, I got a week to do this, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think Miguel must have lost connection or something. He's dropped off, but he'll be back.
Yeah, he's gone offline on
I
my
know, he'll be back. It was just a blank screen at the minute. But I'm gonna go back to
these animations you're showing there are
yeah.
like so simple, eh? Like anybody really.
But they look so like the smoke, like, because I was watching like a YouTube video with someone was showing how to do a flame flickering,
Yeah,
and it looked so simple with the path, and they just kept moving the path, and like, oh, is he here? Yes, he's back.
back.
Can you guys hear me?
Woohoo!
Back. Woo!
Sorry, not sure what
All
happened.
the best bits. That's it. Now we're done.
It was so weird.
I'm having a drink to celebrate. You're back.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
just
I'm not
looking.
sure what happened. It just like all the entire house went completely out on Wi-Fi.
Oh,
and
weird.
internet.
Whoa.
Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened,
Oh dear.
but it's back.
Well, we were
was
just
weird.
talking about so Skoojah uses Procreate animation. I think you were here for that, were you? But yeah, we were just
Oh
talking
yeah.
about,
Mhm.
so
Okay.
it was, so like, how would you do the whole
These guys are a combination, right? Like all of these, like, so the smoke I'll draw and Procreate, animate it like that, sort of cell by cell, get it because then you can draw it naturally and have
yeah,
fun with it. It just
Yeah.
has to repeat where it's coming from. It's just, where is it coming from? And
yeah,
thinking naturally, how would the smoke be? And then like the letters and things like that, they're just done separately. And then I put the whole thing together. These ones are probably in Adobe Premiere.
yeah,
Now I'm just using Adobe After Effects. So you can
yeah,
get better bounces and stuff. And it's,
yeah. There's some nice code, isn't there, for kind of stuff in After
well,
Effects.
yeah, there's even just filters and pop-ins.
Yeah,
Once you look at it, oh, that's how you adjust it. Okay, then you're good to go. But
yeah,
yeah, so it's like I use um, whatever kind of software or app will just make it easier. These ones were so old. I think they were all just, that's what you can do with Adobe Premiere in a couple of minutes. You know what I mean?
yeah. I've never got into Premiere. I've only ever used After Effects. They always make me
These ones, that
smile.
one took longer. So these were promos, right? So, I've always been promoting myself, and I built a wooden box as my portfolio back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But because I wanted to show my work differently than anybody else, so I'd taken
Yeah,
this wooden box under my arm and flip cards at people. So it's I've always done promos, and that was one of them. And it's just, I always thought, well, show your skills off if you're going to promote yourself. So
Now, are you using regular Procreate or the animation one? 'Cause they have
still
like
the,
an animation.
still the regular one. Yeah, I looked at the new animation one, and I just went, well, it's one of those things for me is sometimes they'll get user feedback and people want it to be
Mhm.
blended with something they're comfortable with, but um, sometimes I'm always good with less is more. But I like frame by frame animation. I don't need the
Yeah.
automation as much. I like
yeah,
to enjoy the task of it. I think it's kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
It's Disney, man. It's like it's been done for so long, just with drawing lines. It's great. So
yeah. I agree. I like the process of it for sure. It's
That is
just
pretty
to
cool.
lose yourself in it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So talking about your illustration style, like who was your big influence for your style is so distinctive. Like I feel like there's absolutely no doubt in my mind when I see an illustration you've done that it's you, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where like what was the influence for that style?
Jeez.
Sorry.
You know, like, come on now. You know, like, I don't know. You know, I mean, style has always been a hard thing for me. Like when I finished college, there's a great illustrator. He was like 2 years behind me, Gary Taxali. I don't know if anybody knows him. Came out of Ontario College of Art, and he started to get some little illustration jobs when I did. But he had a very distinctive style, and he's carried it through. He's in museums in the States now. He went to New York, and he's just huge. You know, from just being a illustrator to, you know, the art level he's got to with popularity. I was like very impressed, and I always loved it. But he had a style. When I got out of school, I didn't. So I just kept drawing, and then I knew I could draw like this guy, this guy, this guy. I did storyboard art. I did graphic design stuff. I did all kinds of stuff because there was more work.
Yeah.
So if I stuck with one style, and because I would take my portfolio, like out of every 100 portfolio showings, 3 people would say, I might give you work. And then you'd phone them every week, and one of them would give you a job, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so for $150, right? It was insane, right? What I think about, but you know, it just kind of, but I was always trying to please other people. And it was the launch of the Babylon Misfits for 100% sure. It was like, here is my chance to just put my artwork in a generative collection that I go, this is the way I want to draw things.
Yeah.
And I had been drawing like that in my notebooks and sketchbooks.
Yeah.
Like my sketchbooks are filled with pen drawings of like characters like this. And I would do that. I used to go to bed and draw every night. I just draw a character.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and that'd be it. We'd watch a movie. I didn't really watch it, but I drew a character, and then I go to sleep, you know. And so when the Babylon Misfits came, I was like, okay, these are the styles I like. I've always liked clean line art from Mad Comic days, and I've got. I mean, you're English, so the Dandy, if you remember Beano and Dandy books, I've got some of those that I got in the 70s when I was a kid. And so I loved them. I loved illustrated books. I got, you know, so whatever I saw that was in a graphical style with, you know, and the more detail it had, the more I liked it. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of, when I had the opportunity of the Misfits, it's like, this is what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
And I'd been drawing like that, doing characters for about 2 years, just trying to go, this is the way I like them to look, you know.
Yeah. It takes time, doesn't it? Like I loved the old school tattoo style, but that's not naturally how I would draw. When I was in art college, I didn't draw like that. So I literally would just draw and draw and draw in that style until then it kind of wasn't really old school style, but it's kind of been inspired by it. And it's like before you know it, you've got like something that is just yours. But you know, it's hard to sort of say really what there's. It's why
it's yours. Yeah. My early years of illustrating for the newspapers and magazines all around. There was Financial Post, which is a national magazine, newspaper, smaller and stuff. And I used to get little illustrations for them. They were just pen, you know, black and white. So I had this kind of blotchy, you know, ink style at the time. And there was another illustrator. Damn it, forgot his name. Anyways, it was similar to his, and he got really pissed off, you know. So, and he actually told the editor that he doesn't want to be in the publication if I'm in it at the same time. So
oh my
I got
God,
kicked
what
out
a
a couple.
diva.
Yeah, so it was a weird thing, right? So for me, finding a style was just sort of, I really, to be honest and totally transparent, I was just copying other people's styles. Like I could rip off anybody if I wanted to, but you know, over the years, you fall into what you really, when I'm drawing,
truly what,
this is what comes out. When I'm truly just drawing for the fun of drawing, this is what comes out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also it's partly having a graphic designer background. I think because you're creating brands with different styles and tones, and I think you're used to being able to adapt to style. Like as a graphic designer, you would get no work if you're like, I only
Yeah.
design like the Swiss studios where it's all black and white and it's clean. And like
Yeah.
if that you know, that might be your favorite style, but if that's all you could do, you'd never get a job. So
A buddy of mine got fired for that. He's like, I'm not doing it. If they don't like the way I want to do it, then fuck them. And that was like, and I went, then I got the job, of course. And I did the revisions, and a couple of weeks later, the fucking guy got fired. I was like, how would you do that? Like,
I think it's definitely,
let them have it. Do what they want. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that is part of
different.
That adaptability is definitely comes from that background of being a graphic designer, I think. So it is harder to find your own, because you almost like tune that out of yourself, because that's how you have to work every day. So that's what I love about the Web3 space. I think I've really found myself. Yeah, like you know,
I was talking about that earlier with my wife, just about you and coming on tonight, and I just did that. I think that the thing that I've noticed with you even is like how you keep expanding and doing new things. It's always within the same vibe and the same style, right? Like even though they're different, like your pins and everything it's really, really coming together as this huge, Vicki-licious package. You know what I mean? That it's so consistent. It's great. And everybody wants consistency. Everybody wants a brand. Everybody wants a style, right? But it to me, it takes a long time to really, and that's where maybe, some people were able to do that over the course of college or university. They could get a style launched and people loved it. And that's good on them. But I think for most people, even whether they paint landscapes, it takes them a long time to where they really feel comfortable doing that artwork, and they know it looks good, and they know people like it, and it's also it has a distinctive style to it.
I think it is something that maybe comes with a bit of age and maturity as well. Maybe like where you're more confident and comfortable yourself. I don't know, and you're not really trying to please people just for the hell of it. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I mean, I've all my whole career together. Like when I was a book designer, I got 3 covers, I think, with my illustrations on them. So like I had a checklist when I go, oh, I'm a book designer. So I put other people's artwork on book covers. I come up with the type and stuff like that. And I was in the early stages of still doing hand done type.
Oh yeah, I want to speak to you about that.
And then use as something to put on the cover. So
yeah.
But anyways, it was one of these, and there you go. I THC catching up. It was just one of these things where I totally forgot what I was going to say there about the book publishing.
Oh, about getting your art on the cover. I think I remember you saying.
Oh yeah, it was just one of those checklist moments.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to have my illustration and the design. I thought, well, let's see if we can make this happen. And over the course of 3.5 years, then I got 2 or 3 books under my belt where I illustrated the cover and designed it. And you're like, okay. Yeah.
I love, so your type, because I love typography. Oh my God. It's one of my favorite geeky things. Like that
it's my
designer understands. But you hand render all your type, right? It's all
of that there. Yeah. I just drew that. Yeah. All pencil and then just go over with the ink, digital ink these days. But
that is such a skill. Like to me, that is mind-boggling. Because to create that, even with finding fonts that were right, would be tough.
I'm not a font person. So see, this is my thing. So I was an illustrator, and I think the very first where I really knew, like, yes, I used to do the flyers for the dances back when I was a teenager, right? So my buddies, these Jamaican guys, he had older brothers, and they had a sound system, so they would do the dances. I would do the flyers that got spread out all over the city, right?
Nice.
And by doing the artwork, I would get free admission. So I used to just, it was always hand done with, ink on paper and just playing around with fonts or fun
Shapes.
things. And yeah. So,
Yeah.
so that's where I got to this kind of thing. I still love it. I love it. A buddy of mine who's a storyboard guy used to hire me just to do the lettering part, like
Yeah.
Kellogg's perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
It's
you
a
guys
skill.
hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you back?
I know.
The picture's clearer now as well. You were a bit fuzzy.
For some reason my satellites went out. I don't know what's happening. I'm probably being attacked.
Elon messing with it,
My
probably.
network's probably being attacked right now. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Probably Kevin.
Down. Oh shit! Well, we were just talking
I'm
about
back.
typography. Skoojah hand renders all his type. So
Oh, wow.
this is all.
Yeah. So the See the Good was, so that's a buddy of mine, like a old friend from the industry, right? And he kind of took a sabbatical, and for 6 months he decided he's got to do something to get
Mhm.
the word of just stop looking at hating people and start to look at the good of what all people can do. And they're looking at medical things and developments that have helped humankind, right?
Right.
So I was like, yeah, sure, man. We worked together, and he just wanted me to have fun and like do the branding first, so to See the Good. So I said, okay, I'll do that. I did a bunch. They picked that one. I said, you want me to animate it so you can use it in the videos and stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, I will do that. And then I came up with this, like, so they could have fun in social, right? Just like do a big kind of,
That's cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
That's great.
I love. It was funny when I went to uni, even though it was like the era of Macs, we weren't allowed to touch an Apple Mac for the whole first year. They were like, "You're not anything you do, you've got to make yourself." And
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so we would hand render type. We would make our own paper. We'd
Fucking right. That's how you do it, Vicki. Yeah.
You know, but I think it's what I remember when I got made redundant, and I would just like go into Cardiff with my portfolio to like studios, and the feedback I got was always about my sensitivity, is how they would put it, to
Yeah.
typography. And I think it's because you've created it yourself by hand, or even if we wanted to use Helvetica, we had to do it with layout paper and actually.
Did you have to use a ruling pen where you dip the ink into the ruling pen and then?
No, we didn't have to do that. No.
Yeah, you are younger than me. And it was an old English guy, old gray-haired English guy. Peter would stand over you, and then you'd look at it.
Oh no, that was
go
that.
in with a tight. Oh, there's a wobble there.
Oh.
Walk
Yeah, well,
away with hands
I'm
behind
like you though. I started in newspapers. That's exactly where I started, was in newspapers. But yeah, by that point, we had a computer. But all the guys I used to sit next to would be like, "Oh, we used to do this by hand with letter block," and I'm like, "Oh, whatever.
Right, yeah.
I'm in Quark Express. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, your lettering is just at a level. It's so much fun.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, like I said, I've been doing it. Like, I mean, I doodled all the time, and like a lot of the branding I used to do for clients, it was all, I would always sketch it first, and then I would just trace it, and most of the time nobody knew how, what it takes to get that, but I'd be presenting like 4 different concepts.
Wow.
In front of
That's
me
so
and
much work.
Canada, and go on here, and it's all custom type.
Yeah, that's massive.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's massive. Because even now, like, I will present like, I used to always present 3, but now I've gone down to 2 because I'm on my own and they never give me enough time. And that's without hand rendering type and creating a custom font. That's, just, I normally start with a font and tweak it, and kind of.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, sometimes I do, it's like you can just kind of, but that's more for placement and shit like that, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fun, like, just doing an S, and you can do a page of them, and you'll find one that's great, and just do it over and over again.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so, like, with your characters, like, where do they come from? Like, well, how do you think of these? It's like, they're insane to me. They're so obviously always got an eye popping out. That's the rules.
Yeah.
But, how do you come up with these guys? They are so unique.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just always like I like the exaggeration. So I don't know if how many people know or they're good illustrator history. Jim Davis is a great American illustrator. Was one of the Mad comic illustrators. He's the actual guy who I think it's Alfred E. Newman. The original drawing was Jim Davis, but he's just great, and he used to kind of really draw realistically in his own style, but the heads were bigger. He did a Partridge, was it Partridge Family? There's another group, the Cowsills, which was a family group just like the Partridge Family, but he did he did their album, the Cowsills. I don't know how the hell I got, like, my mom must have bought this album, but I fell in love with it because of the artwork, and it was Jim
Yeah.
Davis, and he was like, I'm like, oh, I fucking love it. And I used to copy his style. I just loved it, but he'd always do the heads a little bigger, the feet could be bigger, the hands could be bigger, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
It was that the skill to be able to draw things perfectly anatomically.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to do that, then you can distort things and
Yeah.
make them look real, right? And that's kind of that's where I just kind of like to draw things that way. And for, I don't know, easily 20 years I've been making eyes bigger. Or no longer. Some of my early illustrations for the newspapers, I look on a wall over here in the dark because they're hanging up. But I used to do big eyes on them, and I don't know why. I think eyes are really interesting, and
They are. I totally get that.
Makes it look really cool.
It does.
I like
It's hard though if you're not, because I'm not amazing at drawing people, so I do struggle sometimes. When I did my Psycho siblings and I was trying to almost Tim Burton the characters, and it's like you realize that they've got to have almost no chin, and this neck's got to be really long and thin, and it's quite hard to do it so it's weird, but that it still looks right. And
Well,
that's
so it looks right, yeah.
That's, and I remember being sat and doing one, and I'd be like, oh, she doesn't look right. And Jace looks at it, was like, oh, you've done the eyes too, like, they need to be bigger. You need to make them weirder. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it would take him looking over my shoulder sometimes to be like, why, this is not weird enough. Why is it not, it is a real skill to be able to make something look like that's how it should look when it is so bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's neat. You're saying that, because I mean to me that is the thrill of something like that. Salvador Dali was one of my favorite artists, right? When
he
I
was same.
But I mean, it's one of these things. For me is like, and a lot of the people I went to college with, like, the first strive as an artist was to be able to do something perfectly realistic, right? Like, you can look at a picture and you can copy it. No problem. You can just duplicate it, but with pencil or pen.
Yeah.
And so I've shared a piece before that, and I was doing that. Like, that's why I got picked in like grade 2 to go to this other art school, because I did that in grade 2. I looked at a cartoon and I fucking just banged it off. It was Barney Rubble.
And, wicked.
And they're like, this kid has some difference about him or whatever. And they picked 2 kids out of the school. One was in grade 6 and I was in grade 2, and I got to go. Right? I got bullied, of course, because I'm a little kid in a grown-up kid art school. But anyways, it was just kind of this thing. That was the goal, that you could draw anything and you could draw perfectly. So then once you got there, now you should have the skills to then distort things. But that's when I got to college. I realized, like, I could do that in high school, but then when I got to college, I took real drawing lessons, which were, like, structural, like how to draw things in perspective. That's the best artists in the world are comic book artists, right? And all of that, their knowledge of perspective, space, lighting, all of that stuff is phenomenal. So it's the fact that it's not like in school all the time, and every artist should study that stuff is, and once you can, like, and that's the thing, once you learn how to draw that perspective, structural drawing is like how to, it's all from shapes, and then it's just refinement after that, isn't it? Really?
I remember having books as a kid that were like how to draw a bird, and it'd be like you do this oval, that triangle, you know, and that's what I would just sit and do.
Yeah.
And you
I
know,
tried to teach my kids that. Like I said, first, if you guys want to draw like me, you just need to learn to draw shapes. And
yeah.
I would just say, well,
You have
geez,
to break it down, isn't it? Like look at something and break down the composition like that. Yeah.
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 And then, I mean, that's the thing. Like from education, it was, if you've got life drawing class every week for a couple of years, I mean, you're looking at live models and you have to do gestures. And when you're doing gesture drawings, which is great, which then you can refine, you get the movement. That's where you can exaggerate. I can exaggerate their back. Now I know how to draw their spine and their hips in the right perspective. Well, now I can exaggerate it and have fun with it. That's where like my misfits, I just like, man, I can do these heads. And it was also figuring out, like,
I love her. Number 928. Look at her with her little bunchies.
oh yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah, I know. So we never did life drawing really in uni. We did a lot of light and dark, and we didn't do life drawing. And I do feel like I really missed out on a skill there. And maybe I'll take a class.
Yeah, no, the college, I don't think the program is still the same today, but we had 3 drawing classes and then painting. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that was the bulk of our lessons. And, object drawing is sort of, that class was all about lighting and shading, right? I mean, I fell behind. I'd like stay up too late, or whatever, and miss the class. And then it's like, oh, you got to do these drawings, Skoojah. The teacher was pretty decent. He'd show up at our pub nights and stuff, trying to pick up some of the young girls.
There's always one like that in skin.
Yeah, I mean that's why I quit teaching at college. I didn't want to be that fucking guy.
It's too funny.
Yeah,
it's funny because we had a crazy art teacher. He like basically didn't teach us anything on the syllabus and would get us to illustrate. This is when I was doing A levels. So he'd be like, oh, just here's a chap, like a passage from like Lord of the Rings, illustrate it. Or like he'd be like, here's like Dr. Faust. I remember we had to read that, and then we had to we'd have to create a costume for it for one of the 7, and all that stuff. And it was amazing. But like we all failed art, but all got into art college. So like I think I got an E at A level, but had unconditional place into art college because they loved that shit. It's just like school didn't, it was like, and I remember going to my portfolio and then getting the letter saying, oh, whatever you've got a place. And it was like, wow, the pressure's off. I've got a place in art college. I don't even need to pass. That's brilliant. Yeah. Because basically we hadn't drawn a fruit bowl and shown the light and the dark. But I remember my one mate had drawn a massive Jesus Christ on the cross, and it was like, okay, he just let us. He was always smoking weed. Like he was fun. But we had the best.
I mean, I love my weed, so I mean, it's one of the greatest things, as you can tell. And is that picture? Yeah, it's got.
These are excellent.
I did
Guys, I wanted to apologize. I keep going in and out.
Oh, it's okay.
My apologies. I'm trying to get this fixed through my phone on the computer, trying to figure out what the heck is happening. But, I don't know.
It happened.
Driving me nuts.
Let's see if there's any more of these NFT collections. So how did you go from like a commercial designer to the Web3 world? Like how did that leap happen?
Well, I mean, it was a guy in my industry. He was taking the leap, and it was sort of, it was when was it? In 2021, right? So everything was just fucking taking off, right?
Yeah.
So, these guys started this marketplace, and they were going to have like 6 artists to launch the thing. I was artist number 2. Artist number 1 kind of brought me in and said, hey, would you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I got the time. I could come up with a generative collection, right? Yeah. Which, like in my Misfits is, almost 1,200 assets I had to create.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, it's insane. Because
insane. Because I actually almost all of them look like completely like one of ones.
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted them to none of them are like, that was the whole thing. They got to be one of one. So something is the background is 3 different layers. And then, there's hair, shadows, eyes. Like, I have shadow layers for certain eyes and noses and things like that. And different hair in front, hair behind. Like a lot of different, something like a dozen different traits. And then because I did 3 head shapes, and then 9 colors or something. Yeah. So then you're basically duplicating all of the artwork over and over and over again. It was, a lot of months of production, but it's one of those things. I got into the generative thing and I thought, here's where I can have fun with my characters and really, because that's what I do. I'll draw a shape. I'll draw some fucking eyes on it, put some crazy ass ears, and then, let me make a like bones coming out of his mouth if I want, right? Like, I'm sometimes, like, my wife's watching a movie or she might be sleeping. I'm high and I got, like a pencil in my hand and I can draw, over the years, I can just draw whatever I want to draw. Right.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
So it was one of those. Yeah. There was one in high school. There was one, it was a grade 9. I got my first published piece. It went in some board book. And the art teacher had said, you can draw something or whatever. And I wanted to draw a lion, but no reference, right? I didn't have any photo reference. I just wanted to draw a lion. And it took me 6 times to draw it where I thought this is a good lion, just out of my head. And then that was the lion. And so he picked this to go in this fucking book for the whole, school board or something. I was like, get out of here, man. Like, that's,
so
I
cool.
get it right, So no, that's where I just love these guys. It was like, draw whatever. Like, I love that one. Like, why can't we have a hand sticking out of his eyeball, holding the eye?
It's amazing. I loved the generative thing. Like, for me, that is the most exciting thing.
100%. Yeah.
Personally, like, I describe it to people when I'm trying to explain it to people who don't understand. It's like every time someone mints a character, it's the first time you are viewing it in that way, because you've obviously, I've imagined as many combinations as I can to make sure they work, but then when it generates one, it's like, oh wow, that one came out. It's like, that's exciting, because it's like you've drawn every element, but it's combined it in a way you've not seen before. And I just,
Miguel,
that is like, God, man. I feel like that's the most.
It is. It's very
really refreshing. Like, it's a totally different way to view art, I think.
Yeah, it was. And that's, for me, that's where this offer came up. So it's like, hey, do you want to join in on this, and we can, launch an NFT collection? And I went, yeah, for sure. So, because I thought, once I got the explanation really of how the generative collection works, then I was able to just say, oh, that's like a Photoshop thing. To me, that's layers.
Yeah, layers. Yeah.
Layers. And then, so I got to draw. So my Procreate files, and my my Photoshop files to do the final production were fucking huge, right? Like,
I can imagine.
They're gigs in one, and you'd open up, just going on your folder to open it. You're sitting there for 15 minutes waiting.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because I think we had 174 traits. That's all, but I had to split my Lunar Witch over several Procreate documents and then put them together in Photoshop, because I would max out the layers all the time, and it's it's crazy.
It's crazy. But generative to me was kind of cool. I thought, well, hang on. So I can create PNGs at certain opacities. I also, in my collection, I also did probably half a dozen animated GIFs that were supposed to be thrown into the mix.
Right. Okay.
But the guys doing it at the time, didn't know how. So anyways, and it would also have been another month worth of creative production to get them all done, so.
Yeah, no, it's
so sorry, go on.
I love seeing these whip videos. They're like seeing like how they come along and the different because how that is with so when I first before I had Procreate, I would use layout paper. So what you're doing there, I would like I'd have a light box, with like layers and layers of paper on, and it was like
wasn't it mind blowing? Like, I mean, for me, people say, "Oh, you like the iPad?" with Procreate, and I'm like, it is the best drawing tool I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't have the layered paper. I don't have tracing paper. I used to hate it if, well, thinking back in my old days of illustration, like I'd send something off by fax. I'd sketch, send it off by fax, right, to the newspaper.
By pigeon.
And then they would want it revised. But I'm like, well, it's a pencil sketch. So then I'd have to like
start the whole thing again.
Tracing paper. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I've been there.
Sometimes I cut it out and paste it and tape it on, refax it. And then, now they like it. And then you're drawing over multiple pages and pieces of paper. And it's like, and then boom, 30 years later, we have Procreate. So
for me, it's the most exciting thing ever. Because especially with, like, because you're like me, you're like, I mean, I'm nowhere near at your level, but the line work is very clean. So it's like not very forgiving when there's like errors at all. So working on layout paper, quite often I'd do half. And if I was like, especially when I was doing Russian dolls, because I've been doing Russian dolls for a while, they're so symmetrical. So to do that by hand, just with layout paper, and you'd be like, oh, there's a wobble, and you're like, oh my God, and it would kill me. And like,
then you fold the paper in half.
That's what I would do.
Fold it in half, and then
that's exactly what I would do. Fold it in half, open it up, and then I'd like use the carbon paper. I can't. What's it called? The Sarah paper.
Carbon paper with a carbon layer on the back. So
now to be able to go, oh wow, I just need to rub that out and like redraw that line or delete that layer. It's amazing.
But I'm always, I know now it's unbelievable. It's absolutely crazy. So that's where, like, to my clients today, I said that, like, I give them sketches. So I'm working on a big piece for somebody's website, a company's website, and it's on the cultural page. So it's like a big drawing with, pop-ups and stuff. And it's just, I say to them, I'll give you a sketch, right? And then, but they're never really quite sure what I'm going to sketch. So then they get this drawing that's like those ones you were showing, and it's a very tight kind of pencil sketch. And I always say, I'm going to give you a pencil sketch. Now it is digital, but I never know what they're going to think. And then when they get it, sometimes they're like, holy shit, like this is like, it's like unbelievable. They're ready to just, okay, that's good. No, it's still ink and color and stuff.
It makes it, I think Procreate has just made the whole process much more or less labor intensive for sure. Like,
well, it just speeds things up. You can use photo reference, dump it on in there, stretch it, warp it, draw right over it. Then I don't have to do the whole structural drawing part where I figure out the structure and all this. I just kind of fake it with a little pull and stretch and then trace something.
That's exactly what I do. I work in a really similar way because, like I say before, I would have those. I put things on light boxes and kind of manipulate things with photocopiers and all sorts of stuff. It's like it's crazy. But I know you do it. You do a lot of like IRL exhibitions and stuff as well.
Yeah, well, this was so that the backdrop piece there, Only Good Vibe, that is used to be a tabletop. It's like 8 feet, 3.5, and I'm actually gonna redo it. But this was supposed to be a show in May, right when I think it was in the midst of COVID and
okay.
And so the original pieces you would be buying is like the framed one on the right. And I think I did 16, 20 different pieces. So I just want to really it was cardboard boxes I had. I got a new digital drum kit. Cool. I had the box for it, sturdy cardboard. And I just don't like wasting things. I've been painting on wood since the 90s. So I upcycle whatever material I can. So
that's really wicked.
Just with the Crink, your squeeze bottles, Posca, or the Posca markers and spray paint. little
I
fun.
just I just treated myself to a range of Posca markers. I want to get into having a go with some Poscas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to use like a marker, but it wasn't the Poscas, and I think they're going to be better.
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
used to use Sharpie a lot, and then
yeah,
but with the paint, and sometimes because I'll use acrylic as well. Like I'll
yeah,
splash it with acrylic and spray paint, but even spray paint has a little has a little dust,
yeah,
um, so that it just fucks up the Sharpies, and then they stop working. So you go through
yeah,
it crazy, and the a Posca's it's a paint marker. It lasts way longer, and you get
yeah. These are wicked,
solid color. Yeah.
and they're all upcycled cardboard. Is that what you said? And wood?
Yeah, basically, most of the collection is off of one drum kit. On the other side of the board, you'll see like the branding and stuff for it's my little Alyssa's drum kit here. Yeah,
Oh, cool. That's so wicked.
yeah,
I love these. I'm gonna have.
yeah,
Oh, so this is very different.
yeah. So I did this. I did this painting. I think the first one I did is the girl on the left, from me looking at it here.
Yeah,
Um, and and then I thought this is kind of cool. It was just how I came about doing the painting. So I did two more, and then I designed them as posters, and I entered them into an applied arts illustration awards annual,
yeah.
and they won for best promo posters.
Oh
So I'm
wow.
like, oh, that's cool. People like these. So then, I met this guy I knew through the industry. He was a part owner of a bar that does the gallery shows, and Acid and I now, like, Acid's had fucking, I don't know, 9 shows there now. I got
Oh
him in,
wow.
but this was my first show. I came up with like 16 paintings. They're all on upcycled pieces of wood I had uh, in my collection. I just don't let pieces of wood go because I know you could paint on it. So
Yeah. So
find them in the
what,
garbage around the neighborhood and stuff. And,
are they acrylics?
it's all acrylic. Yeah, it's all acrylic and graphite.
Oh wow. Do
But
you have to, do you have
yeah,
to
so
prep the wood before you paint on it, or is there like do you have to prep it in any way, or do you just?
yeah, I would. These ones I would just go and paint straight on them. It's because the first layer really go and have a lot of fun. Like when I'm painting stuff, like that's why their hair is fucking crazy. I would take a graphite, like a graphite stick, like a good hard graphite. I think the one I have is B,
Right.
or is it HB? Yeah, but anyways, I think it's a little bit harder than B. But so I would just scribble. Like I would just scribble hair. I just draw, like when you're a kid and you would just grab a crayon and like
Just go, like, yeah.
scribble hair. That's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. That was one thing. Everyone, that's how they started. And then I was going to draw their eyes exactly the same, or as close to being exactly the same. Nose could change, mouth could change, hair would change, outfit could change, whatever. But it was just like do the eyes the same and just go crazy with the hair, like be like a kid, and then paint them into those pieces. But
Amazing.
uh,
Yeah. And this is the Made You Smile collection. This was quite recent, wasn't it? This one was it in the summer?
yeah, this one, yeah. Acid followed me up on this one. Yeah, I just showed the month before him, and this one was, this was another. I just want to do like have some fun with spray paint on wood panels, so I built 16 wood panels. I was gonna buy them, but I could make 16 for myself for the cost of 2 if I bought them. So I
Oh,
just
right. Okay.
myself, and then and I just want to once again have a lot of fun with spray paint and just doing type. I love type. Type's always gotta somehow be in there, and but with the drawings, I just wanted to just do what is the ink line art look over top of these backgrounds, see what we
I
get,
love it.
have fun with their faces. Like they make no sense. It's just
But they make you smile. It's like that was the brief.
that's the whole thing. Everybody looks at my artwork and they smile or they
They
laugh.
do.
Um,
It does bring me joy. Like I've got your big Halloween misfit one in my fireplace printed out. Like, ooh, so
oh
big.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, really?
And then next to him is my little doodle bear that I've got as well. Like,
Oh
yeah.
sweet, yeah.
And you're actually my desktop screensaver as well.
No way.
Yeah, you're all over
Twinsies. I have the same thing on my desktop.
No, it's cool. But yeah, I love that you're doing like IRL. I've never done anything for like an exhibition or anything. I've never created anything like that. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like other level to be showing.
Well, it's a good task. Like it's a good thing to have. Like to be creative, you can create stuff, but you kind of lose energy. You don't. It's hard to do a collection, right? It's hard to like, do a collection and then you just go fucking full out and just do a whole bunch of them, right? And some things are going to take longer than others, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you. There was a painter I followed in a show before. She did a bunch of lambs and cows and stuff in fields, and they were really cool. They were cool perspective, like kind of fisheye almost, lens looking and stuff. And they're really cool. They were popular. She'd sell them all, almost sell out when she goes to country fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she had just it was method painting, right?
Yeah.
And she would just bang them out. She'd like do, during the week, she would just bang out 25 paintings and then take them to a county fair, sell 20 of them, and then do it again next week, right?
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, that's cool. That's good. You're earning a living and stuff. But I mean, for doing paintings, it's just sort of, you want to explore something. And that's what the shows are for. But you need to, I want to explore this and see if it's cool. And then you do 10 pieces and you go, that's a pretty cool set. And then, depending on what people think of it, then you're like, well, maybe that's something I should do more.
Yeah, I do like creating a collection of like a set. I've got a collection called Ink and Blood Rose, and it's like very tattoo inspired, and everything is black and red, and it's like have you seen those? So and then I've created a collection of pins around those, and then t-shirts as well. It's satisfying for me having a thread through stuff rather than just being random. I'm a little bit of a control freak, I think. I like to feel like there's purpose.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, it is. For sure.
I think I finally found my problem.
Hey.
Hopefully,
what is it? Were you not plugged in?
You know what it is? My whole entire house is like, it's a smart home, so everything is Wi-Fi connected. Like everything, the light bulbs, the switches, everything in the house, garage, cameras, everything's connected. So I think the problem was like it's the light switches. There's an issue with them because it keeps saying that there's like a thread. So in order for the thread not to go through, Orbi, which is my Wi-Fi system, it's like shutting down for some reason. So what I did was I removed all the light switches from the house. So I think I'm good now.
As long as you're not sat in the dark.
It's so stupid, I swear.
That's technology for you.
Unbelievable.
Your house is too clever and it screwed you over.
Unreal.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
We hadn't looked at these. So these are some of your logo marks. These are wicked.
Yeah, I was actually working on that client.
Oh, these are cool.
Today.
They're amazing.
Yeah. And that's the new project I'm working on, the floating pickle. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you were telling me about that earlier. Yeah. So, what's like, tell everyone a little bit, like, what's your process with, like, obviously you've talked about your process with your art. Is it the same when it comes to approaching a brand, or is it slightly different?
Yeah, well, I mean, like these projects, it's nice now. Once you sort of have a portfolio of some of the stuff that people can look at.
Yeah.
Then I'm really just getting people here. Just can you do? We know you can do characters. We know you can do types. So can you just kind of do what you think would be cool for us? And that's where it's kind of nice now, because I mean that's where So both of these, I probably gave them maybe 6 to 8 different versions right up front. Pencil sketches, like just go to town creating, see which ones they like, and then I'll develop 2 of them. And then
it's cool that they just tell you, like, they're not pushy. They're not telling you like exactly what to make it look like. They're just kind of giving you the run for it. Hey,
it's a brand feel, right? Like we're fun. we're
They give you their core values essentially, and then which is
we're empathetic, we're fun, and we're cheerful, and it's got to have that in it or something.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's like life goals for me. Like I'm still at that. People get me in because they're like, I really like what you're doing, but then I hate that conversation. Or we really love it, and you're like, oh, fuck.
I know.
Like really, but I know it's wicked that you're at that point where you've got like clients who come into you for your style rather than like something else they have in mind. That must be super satisfying.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing, and to be to be honest, it was. I really think it was the putting out my NFT collection, the Babylon Misfits. It was just like do the expression of what you like to do, the way you do it at the level I would do it at, that a client, Fortune 500 client would expect. That's just the way I've learned to do my work, and then putting that out there, I was pretty surprised at the response. Right, I just can't believe it. I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, yeah, people like the shit I draw. I've been doing it for years, and the Misfits just kind of pushed me that way. So then I just started doing more and more and more and more. And then you really, at that point, your feed is, filled with what you like to do. And then, over time, people are saying, can you do what you did? I saw your feed, or, and that was really it, throwing in like legit clients. I mean, I've had the benefit of being in the advertising and marketing industry that I get legit clients. Like, I mean, with McDonald's, it's, when somebody sees that in your portfolio, like, well, if, the agency that does McDonald's will hire you, then I guess I can, right?
Yeah. It adds that level of prestige, doesn't it?
That's all, yeah. And it just makes it a little easier, and it's been nice. I mean, that's like this job in particular. I mean, the way I sketched it out to them is how I kind of just sketch things out before I make them even more extravagant. And they like the simple sketch, so I'm like, okay, well, that makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
There's no labor in it. It's just like that's basically me writing with a certain, brush.
That's just my handwriting.
It fucking is, really, to be honest. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god! See, I've had the polar opposite of that once. I came up with a concept for a client that was like handwritten, but then like the whole studio ended up doing handwriting samples because they constantly were like, we don't like that or that, and you're just like, oh my god, it was just supposed to be like a little conversational quote, that went over a photo, and it like became the most labor intensive thing ever in the history of the studio. It was like crazy.
Oh yeah.
You've
even got
the girl who just normally does new business going, can you just write this on a piece of paper for me?
Do this? And you're so good. Here's 12 more.
So it's funny. That's good that they did that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And so what's on the horizon for Skoojah? Like, I know you've got another collection you're working on. Are there sneak peeks on your X maybe?
So currently, like,
let me have a
anybody who doesn't know, so like, launching the Babylon Misfits. So that was a real, real roller coaster ride. So the company that launched it and all that, they basically rugged everything. So Misfits are right now. So, invested some of my own money. Like I lost a lot of money with them as well. That should have been put back in. Anyways, I got the new smart contract up, and I'm just trying to get owners to come over and claim. A lot of them went dead, once the came in. So it's just gathering them up. And just an effort to keep that, keep it alive. And now I own the smart contract. And that's, from the years we've been talking in these chats and everything, Vicki, and it's just knowing the people who can help you and knowing what to do. Yeah. So that's where that kind of, that's kind of hanging out. And then I want to, once the claiming period is sort of over, I'm going to do a couple of final pushes and then, release them once again for minting. And that was the thing. These guys rugged, and I haven't been able to mint for a year and a half.
Wow.
Right? So So that's where now that can be done. So I'm just going to keep plodding along with that, and then I have this other collection bubbling in the background.
Yeah, is it? I think it's
Oh,
Instagram. I've seen it mostly
kind of
on, isn't it?
yeah. I'm good at teasing, but never telling. You know,
You are. You keep it
um,
close.
but it's actually, it's going to be the Misfit Heroes, and this is the thing with you guys, with the FCW crew, right? And Creepy Steve doing the cards, you doing cards, other people doing cards, and this collection I kind of thought of as in the whole thick of that as cards. But like we said, it's an idea you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been tripping on it for months and months and months. So while everybody else's card collections get put out, I'm still.
Oh no, I feel the same. It took me so long, like working out.
Bullshit.
No, it has. Because we did when we launched Luna Witch.
Yeah.
It was always my intention to do the trading. That was always in my mind, and I was thinking about scoring. But obviously now I've learned more from being in the space. That's totally that direction changed in terms of what I'd like to do. And I'm like, actually, maybe it could be playable, and maybe there's like scores attached to traits rather than just like it being a card that you would just trade and swap.
Yeah.
And it's taken a lot of head work and a lot of asking ChatGPT shit.
Hey, I know. I got to learn your skill there for that.
Like, help me. But yeah, I think I've nailed it now and what I want to do. I just need to start doing test printing and stuff. And but
cool.
It's a lot doing that sort of stuff on top of like creating the art as well.
Yeah. What were you looking for on there?
I was looking. I'm sure I saw some sneaky.
It'll be down lower probably.
I was looking. Oh, it keeps asking me to log in, and I can't remember my password.
There's one. The new year or whatever.
Would you on this one?
Yeah.
Will it play? It won't play.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I've been rubbish. I cannot remember. Or maybe it will let me log in. No, password wrong. I can't remember what my password is. I've changed it on my app on my phone, and it's like won't update it on my computer. I don't know why. It's ridiculous, but yeah. And you've got a little bit of merch as well.
Collection is kind of fun because that collection is going to be fun, and I want to do it right. So like I'm in between of doing 3D cards or not. So I've and dabbling in 3D myself. Can I make the cards? Can I do this? But then knowing there's other people I can reach out to, I'm quite comfortable of maybe trying that. But they're based on ink and watercolor paintings I did of some like superheroes.
That's what I remember seeing.
Yeah, like years ago in the social media challenge. You know how they used to do monthly challenges? I think
yes.
So it was a superhero every week or every day. Yeah, superhero every day. So doing a watercolor painting and inking it every single day to get it posted. And then I was like, and once in the end, it's a little challenge. And then you go, oh my gosh, I got a collection right here. This is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do with them. I was going to try to sell them just, as prints and stuff. But then when I got into the NFTs, I thought I'd like to redo them digitally.
Yeah.
So the people who own the NFTs could get the original pen and ink piece. So
which is
that was the original goal for it. But now I've rolled a bunch of other stuff in and, trading cards kind of shit. And we'll see how
it feels like the whole trading card thing and the NFT things, it's like they belong together. It's like they're much of the same thing, really. I feel like anyone who's into collecting cards would be into collecting digital art in that same way, and vice versa. I think it's the only way I can see Web 2 and Web 3 crossover, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because it makes sense. Like when you look at what VFriends is doing, and it just makes sense to me that is a way to kind of onboard people from outside of Web 3.
Yeah, really. They're collectibles. They are.
Yeah.
But they could go up. So
yeah, it was funny because we were talking about that with Mason, weren't we? Like how he was saying when he got into NFTs, when it sort of opened the door for collecting other stuff, because you kind of go, okay, everyone in here is like collecting art, and NFTs, and it's like, wow, I'm going to collect my comics that I always thought I couldn't, or I'm back to picking up my Garbage Pail Kids, unopened from like the 80s. It's like it's kind of it's really an amazing thing. It's very freeing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what you do with those.
Yeah, well, it should be fun. I mean, this project here that you got on screen was that one. It was another collaboration, and it got kicked off, but it was, it was, I was the artist on the team, so the people running it, I don't even. It was fun, but it was based on a story that this guy had written over years,
Right.
and so it was. Comic books that would go along with the story. So, you own the NFT. So we did a launch of the early NFT. You would buy something. So you kind of basically, they were giveaways. That was that floating, rock that came to Earth, and it's these aliens. And it was pretty cool. So
you did all the artwork for this?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the NFT is another generative collection again. So I did like,
oh, these are fun.
Yeah, I did something like there was more eyes in different classes, but they were all and then nods to certain collections like Bored Ape and.
I would be so into reading a comic that you illustrated. Like I quite often do pick like my comics based on the illustration style. I kind of feel like that's for me what kind of comes first. But yeah. This is amazing. Like this is probably how long is a piece of string? How long does it take you to create like each one of, because that's what blows my mind about comic books is when you've got all these little blocks, like some are obviously more detailed than others. You can see like almost the main scenes are kind of got more detail, but how long does something like this take to create one panel? And then obviously you've got a spread.
Well, they're I don't know, like the killing of Caesar there or whatever. That one it's got a lot of detail, so they can
huge amount of detail.
Maybe 4 or 5 hours, I would guess.
Oh my wow!
4 or 5 hours per drawing. That's sketch to final.
And did you color them as well? Because sometimes I've noticed they have someone who does the line art, they have someone who does the color, and someone who does the lettering. Like when you look at the credits, you did it all. Wow.
It was a lot of work. I mean, they're fun, but I mean, I it's the challenge, right? I love it, and you're creating, you're creating a look of stuff, so. It's just kind of fun, and as an art director in my days, on photo shoots and things like that. And art is composition, right? Like, early days of things. You just want the person's eye to go around the whole thing. If they just stare,
you do.
There's no proper composition, right? So, it's just sort of triggers of that, and but they're fun. It's the thing with those is keeping the likeness on the character over and over, throwing them in different angles. But once again, it's kind of the beauty of Procreate. Once again, I could take a sketch of the face or the head in one area, just circle, copy, paste it, stretch it a little bit, and then redraw it. But that's the more anatomy, and that kind of structural drawing and stuff, knowledge you have, the easier it is, right? But
so all these were done in Procreate.
Everything was Procreate in this one.
Wild.
Amazing.
It is amazing. I hadn't thought about it, but now you said it, like that consistency of a character, because I have read like books where I'm
you read
I'm like,
I don't. I've only read 2. I've only read
pictures where I've looked at the character from a few pages on. I'm like, is that the main character or not? Because it's not quite how you viewed it earlier on in the comic, and I don't know whether it's like they've switched or so. Like that is, now you've said that, and I think about it, I think, oh wow, that is a real skill to be able to keep that consistency.
That was the biggest challenge out of that. I mean,
These are amazing.
They're fun. Yeah, it was a great project. I had a lot of fun with those characters too. Like some of the traits I put on them, like they had good stuff, and I was like, these are going to be.
Yeah, they came out really good.
Yeah, they make nice little pogs, wouldn't they? The little.
Well, the concept behind them is that these would be microscopic, so the black frame kind of thing around them is what a slide looks like if you were looking at like minute
Through a microscope.
DNA. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
I basically mimicked that. Used some reference and then made it kind of so it's like you're zooming into a tiny little speck.
Organism.
And so that's why each one of them has kind of like a sauce or like a juice around them.
Yeah.
All of those were all going to be animated. So,
they move like
them and animated them. So they were just different colors. So you would get a different animated sauce. And they were all like, specimens is what they were.
Specimens. I love it.
They come up with these things.
I know, they're so gross. I love it. They're wicked. Yeah. Would you ever do a comic again, or is it like, was it a labor of love, or was it just a labor?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I've always had that. I'm not a great writer. English was really bad for me. Grammar's terrible and stuff. I have ideas, but that's where I kind of fell into illustration and then, doing ideation for advertising and stuff was a natural process, but I could bounce it off my visual ideas and story with a writer. And so that's where, I have a couple of things I can work on that people have the stories. So it is a huge undertaking.
I can see that. I don't think I'd have the staying power. It's like, seems
overwhelming. Yeah, this one was like, you're hoping it was the good days of NFTs, and you're hoping this project's going to go and it's going to take off, and then you can fund the production and keep it going. But they don't come by all the time. So,
I see a lot on Kickstarter. There's a lot of like comics on there, like asking for funding, and kind of, I can see that that's a good place to kind of get something off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot of work, right? So, it's hard to do work to pay the bills when you're spending, 5 hours a day on the artwork for one of these.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, well, it's been so interesting talking to you. You are so talented.
Extremely,
so unique. I just, you're like, you're not my favorite. I can't say that out loud, but you are my favorite artist. I love lots of artists, but I just, your stuff for me, it is the smile element for me. They always, they just bring me joy. I just, you can just zoom in and be like all the little details,
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, that's the artwork I create is, I mean, and that's why the Babylon Misfits were like the good vibes tribes. I mean, they just make people laugh, and you got to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
People look, you got to just like, if, like one of my youngest, she had her teeth pushing out when she was little because new teeth were coming in. Her two front teeth like stuck straight out. I called her Bugs Bunny for like a month. She just didn't want to pull them out, and I always used to look at her and go, "That's like, she's still going to school with confidence. She didn't give a shit." So, and I just love those. I go on the subway and you'd see people like that, and they don't give a shit. Look at their hair. Look at their eyes. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hair, and they're carrying it. So I was like, I didn't care how I looked. I was not wearing a suit and playing the game with anybody.
Yeah.
I'll wear my shorts and my fucking baseball hat when I want to. I don't care if the client's here. Fuck them.
That is, I think that's the beauty of what you're creating, is that attitude comes through your.
Something. Yeah, there's just got to be something somebody wouldn't do, or why not, right?
Yeah. So. I love that, because it's a celebration of like weird.
And it makes people laugh. I started putting them on my T-shirts. I didn't want to wear T-shirts with other brands on them. And I thought, well, now there's all these on-demand services and so many things out there. And this was like probably 6-7 years ago. So I just started putting some of my characters on T-shirts, and I wear them around. And you'd always get people like laugh or smile as they walk past. And I'm like, oh, they saw my T-shirt because they can't see it, and then they look at it, they get close and go, oh fuck, look at his eyes or something.
Yeah, I love that. I do love that. I think not enough people, like I was having this conversation today actually about, I'd created something for like a young, she was 18 and whatever, and for her birthday, and she was like, oh no, but I want it to look like this. And I just thought, oh, kids today are so scared of standing out. Like it's this, they want to be just like fit in with, this is what's cool, you know, where they don't want something that's bold and like a bit crazy and a bit different.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love your art so much, I think, because it's like expressing my inner wanting to stand out and be a bit different and be a bit weird.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. I mean, well, that's how I grew up. I mean, I fit into every single group, but I didn't really identify with any group. So I was kind of,
that's how I was. I sort of drifted amongst different people and got on with everyone and kind of, but I was just me. I was into rave music, but I was also going to heavy metal concerts. You know, I was just exploring everything. I just, you know, and I think that's such a like exciting way to be.
Yeah, well, that was me, skinny white kid introducing everybody to reggae in a white neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Love it. It's amazing. Yeah.
You guys don't smoke dope? That's what's fucking wrong with you.
You're the weirdos. Oh, well, it's so nice to have you on. And yeah, I suppose we've gone on longer than I realized. I could talk to you like for hours.
Oh yeah, no, it's been great conversation. So
yeah, it's so good. But like, is there a best place to find you? Obviously, this is your website, so it's skoojah.com.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing X and Instagram is where you're at.
All the same. Yeah, it's all Skoojah. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, well, I've been Skoojah since '98, right? So that was just, you know, when I bought a URL, it's like, what could I be? So it's
where does that come from?
Well, it's my nickname is Skooj, Skooj. That's what everybody's been calling me since I was like 12.
Okay.
And it's stuck. Even when I got into the advertising business, there was another Andrew. So they said, you got a nickname? I said, Skooj. So now more people know me as Skooj and work with me and never knew my first name. So, but then back in 98, because that's when my son was born, I bought my URL and I just went Skoojah because that's my nickname plus my reggae and Rasta kind of, you know, love.
Yeah.
And, that's combined. And then the way people used to pronounce my name and how it's spelled, they would say Skoojah.
Yeah.
So that's how most people would say it and pronounce it. And there you go. 27 years later, here we are. Oh yeah. That's why I'm Skooj, and that's why I like people that go, hey, PM Skoo, and it's just Skoo, and I'm like, well, no, you got to have the J at least.
I like to put lots of like "jah" at the end of it. I always do that. Skoojah. I don't know why. That's how I always want to say it. It's wicked.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and like, yeah, it's been a pleasure to just sort of hang out and share your stuff.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Well, thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me all. Sorry for all your outages there, Miguel. You know.
I know. I'm sorry. I haven't been able to talk much, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So after I thought I fixed it, the Wi-Fi can see that the bars continue to go down and up. So I'm not sure what's going on still.
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to get this fixed ASAP.
Yeah, it can't be without Wi-Fi. That's like
no,
it's not happening. But
yeah, it's gonna be something internal. I'm sure I'll figure it out. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, but we were saying earlier when you disappeared that like did you hear that Acid lives down the road from Skoojah? So I did
hear that part. Yeah.
So I think we should do an Acid and Skoojah in the garden with a beer show. Yeah. You could be in the pool.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys would know the reference of Bob and Doug McKenzie. The McKenzie brothers back in the old days, they were two Canadian guys, comedians, and they were the Canadians. So that's, you know, the bacon and
Acid.
Huh?
Is that you and Acid then?
Yeah, that would be Acid.
I love Acid. He was a great conversation that we had with him.
Yeah, he's fun. You two together are like, wow.
Oh God, we get lost, man.
I know you are just.
We were chatting the other day. We got lost. It's like, whoa. our minds can really take off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys probably can sit together and just lost track of time
Oh yeah,
and just talk
100%. Well, we
for
went through 12 beers
hours.
in I think a half an hour. So, well, at least we thought it was half an hour. It was probably like 4.
Oh God. Oh, well, I'm gonna do so. I'm gonna quickly just share, if I can, my lunar oracle. We're gonna ask it a question.
Oh yeah,
Let's do
try it
it.
out.
And then we can end then on whatever wise wisdom.
Let's hope I don't get kicked out again.
I know. Okay, so here she is. So who's got a question for her? What are we gonna ask? Right.
Who's the prettiest of them all? And it better not say me, otherwise it's fucked. You should.
Let's ask. Here we go. Here she goes. Searching my knowledge. Okay. Oh, it's the moon spirit and the white cat. There we go.
What did you ask it?
Who's the prettiest?
Oh, did you?
But then if you ask it to draw a card, this is the clever bit. It will pull. Oh no, it's probably struggling with I've got too many things going on. So it will pull one of my cards that I've uploaded.
Oh.
Eventually. I think it can't cope because I'm streaming. My Wi-Fi's gone.
Knock
No.
down the resolution a bit or something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me stop it. I knew it would fail. Of course it did. Everyone's been testing it for like days. There we go. Poof. So there it is. It pulls a card. It tells you then what the card is from, what coven it's from, and what the little bit of lore about it is, which is really.
So you uploaded all this data into it?
Yeah. So I basically uploaded all my knowledge as text files and then I then had to host these images. This is where I was learning. I had to host them somewhere that can be viewed public, so that because obviously ChatGPT is public.
Yeah.
So I've uploaded, but I've probably like loaded it with about 25 cards just for now, just for different designs. And the covens, some of them are like, and you can then ask it. The dark mystic is another voice for moon ritual. So this is cool. Yeah. So then the tone of voice changes with each of the characters. So it'll write you a full like moon ritual for like whatever, and it tells you what to say, what candle to light, and all that kind of. It's a bit of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
So apparently the moon spirit is the prettiest of them all, not any of us. So there we go.
That's pretty amazing though, Vicki. I really like that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's fun. I don't know what its purpose is just yet, but I think I'll find something to do with it.
You got to figure out how to incorporate it into your website.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And then maybe we can run like some sort of like competitions or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Even in Discord too.
Yeah. Yeah. So in Discord, I think you have to create an app and then get a bot to. That is way beyond me. I can tell you now.
So make it 50 cents a draw, and then somebody will draw the card that gets the original painted piece.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then you just have to paint it.
I just ship it. It cost me like £5,000 to ship it to America.
Oh yeah, you didn't ask me about all my Babylon Misfit stuff around the world. Oh man.
Oh god, yeah. I had the same with the Psycho siblings, where I was like, "Oh, this would be good. If you mint all 10, you get a T-shirt, you get a sticker pack, you get all these postcards." And then every person I would say, "What size T-shirt do you want?" They'd say XXL, and it would push it over the weight ratio that I budgeted for, and cost me like double the price. And I was like, "Oh, I'm never doing this again." This is a stupid idea.
I can't believe how much money I spent.
Yeah, hoodies are heavy too. Like,
yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. And fun. Well, and the paintings were fun too. I think there is one painting sitting in the post office in Madrid. of one of the Babylon Misfits. Real nice little painting on a wood panel, just sitting in some postal office. Another one in Africa.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh well, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for joining us again. Miguel, did you have any little final words for anything?
No, because you know why? I continue to have issues today for some reason. Words for myself. I'm gonna look myself in the mirror and tell me how much I suck today.
No, you don't even need the Lunar Witch for that.
Unbelievable. No, man, but I really just want to say thank you. I mean, I didn't get a chance to really ask you much or any questions technically, but hopefully we get to have you again on the show and I'm able to ask you some stuff because you look like you have a really extensive experience in art, and that's something that I love. And Vicki knows this, that I'm all about it. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get to spend time again, and hopefully my Wi-Fi works so that I'm able to ask you what I want to ask you. But no, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and hopefully we get to talk again.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love that. It's been great. I want to just thank you for having me on. So if I can do it again, it would be great. And I'll try to find more stuff to talk about.
Oh my God, you don't need any more. I mean, like, it's so much. You've got such a wealth of creativity. It's like,
all right. Well,
wow.
That's good. I just wish I could make $1 million off of it.
I know, right?
Knowing it is one thing. Earning
you probably can. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. You just keep doing. My belief now is that you just keep doing the one thing that you love, and it seems to keep paying off, right? And so I'm getting better jobs based on what I did. If this is the last thing I could leave for anybody, it's to just stick to it, and it doesn't matter what other people like. You will find that community that fucking love it.
Yeah. I like to think that that's the case. It's just that like right time, right place sometimes, isn't it? That it just
It's never happened for
no,
like other people right in front of your eyes, but if you keep going, it's the ones who quit that never make it. So
that is very true.
Oh, well, thank you everybody. All the FCW crew here, Frisky and Danny and Dave and Steve, they're all here. They're like in the comments hard. So and Empty Soul Prime and Acid, they're all here. Thanks for joining. They're always supporting, and they're the best bunch in the world.
Yeah, good group.
They're always supporting. Always.
They're always around. So thank you very much. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day wherever you are. I'm off to bed as usual. It's like 1:45 in the morning for me. I just need to move out to the States, I think. It'd be easier.
It's only 7:45 p.m. here.
Oh, so you've still got... I'm jealous that you've got like so much left of your day. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to go smash my Wi-Fi now.
Just go and beat your Wi-Fi up. Oh my goodness. Well, so we'll be back to Wednesday next week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, back to Wednesday next week. And then the following week, I'll be in New York. So
yes, you will.
Might not be exciting. Might be a bit of live streaming around to sort of show around what I'm doing and whatever, but we'll see. So thank you very much, guys. We shall see you next week. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.